All right, new office. Let's take a look. Okay, new office, but my camera is getting worse because I'm using my phone now. That's because I haven't got a camera for the new setup here, but I'll get it. It's gonna come. I haven't done a podcast in a while. I'll get it. It's all coming back. It's all coming together, right? As we know, I'm not watching UFC. Okay, they didn't support. Not only did not support Black Lives Matter, right? They didn't say anything, and they didn't even speak on the racism or didn't show any support of just minorities, right? When in a time of need, they didn't do that. I can't support someone that doesn't support me, right? Me personally, right? And I'm sure there's a few things that things that I use. If you wanted to take it apart with a fine tooth comb, whatever, that you could find a few products, right, that I use. You would say, well, they didn't do it, whatever. I'm sure. If I see something and I notice something that is not, I won't. Me personally, I will not. I'm gonna take a stand on this. This will be my stand, right? My personal one. Now, if you watch UFC, and I'm sure that people do, right, and I'm sure that people are gonna still watch it. I'm not judging you. I don't know anything. It's just my personal thing, right? It's my personal thing. Now, saying that, there is a big fight this weekend. And there's a big fight that I'm really sad I'm gonna miss. I'm very sad I'm gonna miss. I love fighting. It's my favorite thing. And it's really probably my favorite thing in the world, right? It's more romantic when it comes to fighting. And there's a big fight and a big card, and I'm disappointed I'm gonna be missing it, but I will be missing it. That being said, I don't really feel comfortable doing a podcast on it because I feel like that I'm trying to gain views off something that I'm not even gonna watch, right? But I will give my opinion on the main event and the co-main event just because, I mean, it's a big fight not to give an opinion on, and I won't be watching it, and I know people are gonna be watching it, so I just want to show you what I take from it, right? And this is the main event that everybody wants, the main event that I wanted. It's a fight everybody wanted. It's just we're not getting it correctly. And Masvidal coming in off of a few days' notice, a week before the fight. It just robs us of what should have been, right? And I'm not saying the same doesn't turn into a great fight. I'm not saying that even Masvidal doesn't win, right? But it's just, if he doesn't win, it's gonna leave a bad taste in our mouth, and it's gonna leave with it doesn't give Usman. It's not gonna give Usman the clear win, right? It really hurts Usman. It really does, and it hurts Masvidal because he's on such a great run right now. He's on the borderline of just a superstar in fighting. And he's going to fight one of the toughest fights in welterweight, right? One of the toughest welterweights of all time. Off of just coming off the couch. And you could say, oh, he trained everything. He did not train, right? He trained, right? He trained as in he went to the gym, but he didn't train for a fight. And he didn't train for a championship fight. And if you think he's going to go in there and fight a guy that's a grinder and a talented grinder, which is one of the hardest things you could possibly fight, is a guy that's talented, can put pressure on you the way that Usman's going to put pressure on you, you need a full camp for that. You need a mentality built in to withstand that, and you need your legs ready to go. And Masvidal is going to go from light training, right, helping gym partners at the gym, right, doing probably some training sessions, light cardio. He said one of his things was like a spike ball, which I love spike ball, but that ain't real training for a fight. He's gonna go from that, right, on a week, and then he's gonna go and he has to travel across the country, or across the world, right? And then he's got to do media spots and everything for a week. So he's not even really get full training in, and then you're not even supposed to get full training in a week before a fight. He's definitely not getting sparring in. He's definitely not getting legit sparring in. And you're gonna say his legs are gonna be ready to stop takedowns, to move angles, to really explode the way they're supposed to fight Usman? And if this fight was full training camp, I'd take Masvidal. I would take Masvidal. I'd take Masvidal probably by knockout. Because his hands are so good, and he's so in a rhythm right now, and he's so good at making slight angle changes that would affect Usman's wrestling. And if he can make Usman miss on his wrestling a few times, Usman's going to be very slow to hands. Now, he is far superior to Usman in hands. But the thing about hands is if you're not on top of your game, you could diminish very quickly. And the thing is, if I think how this fight plays out is that Usman's going to take him down continuously for the first round, and he will equal out the hands to a part where Usman might get the better part of the hands. In the fourth and fifth round, he might get the better part of the hands. And it's going to make Masvidal very reluctant to take his shots. Really reluctant to punch. Similar to the Damian Maia fight where Masvidal was shut down, right? He was just held against the fence. This is going to be similar to that. He's going to get outworked because Usman is fully trained for a fight. for Masvidal to win, right? And this is saying if he had a full camp, right? Let's just say the things that are supposed to work out for him. He's got to avoid takedowns early. He's got to make Usman work for takedowns. He's got to avoid them early and really get into Usman's head that he's not going to get takedowns and he's already gassing himself. That way he doesn't look for takedowns later. And then he gets in a stand-up fight where Usman is less superior, less of a stand-up fighter than Masvidal and much less of a puncher. And then it puts Masvidal in a spot where he could start pushing Usman back because Usman's getting hit with shots. Usman is not a bad stand-up. He actually keeps improving, so he might even be better stand-up than he was last one. Because last Colby Covington, his stand-up was better than Colby Covington, and I thought Colby Covington's stand-up was all right. So his stand-up is not bad, I'm not saying, but Masvidal is just far superior when fully trained for a fight. I expect Usman to put pressure on him. I expect Usman to break him down. I expect Usman to win the decision on this fight, a very clear one. And if Masvidal pulls this off, if Masvidal wins this fight coming off the couch, and he knocks out Usman, or even just takes this or just wins in any way, form, or fashion, he might be unbeatable at that weight. If he's coming off the couch and beating Usman, and he beats Usman, and his stand-up is good, and everything's sharp, and he's just finally caught that zone that he needed his whole career, he might be unbeatable at 170. And you're gonna see some big fights. Now the UFC, because of the way they do their pay thing now, right? They didn't want to pay Masvidal. That's why we're here. This fight should have been made months ago, but they didn't want to pay him. This is why we're here fighting on a week's notice. Because the only way you're going to get UFC to do any deal with money is out of pure desperation, which is what they were at right now. And that hurts the fight game. Because this fight should be a legit fight with the training camp. It shouldn't be a gimmick where a guy gets off the couch. This isn't the WWE where you can just point a guy in the crowd and he jumps out and he wrestles, right? It's not that. But this is the way WWE's going to run business. This is the way the UFC is going to run business now. This is the way they're going to run business. Because they don't want to pay. And they're only going to pay you if they're extremely desperate. That's why Nate fights only once a year. Because they only pay him when they're extremely desperate. They're talking about Masvidal versus Nate for the welterweight belt. That's what Masvidal wants. They are never going to make that fight. Unless they're extremely desperate. And that means it'll be on a week notice. Conor versus Nate, right? Well, they ain't doing that without a crowd. So it depends when you get a crowd. When's the crowd coming back? Because they're not going to give up any money on that fight. They're not going to give up a live gate for that fight. And they're not going to pay these guys what they want unless they have an audience, a crowd. So this is worked out for Masvidal because it's a payday, but it didn't work out for him fight-wise. Okay, there's no advantages to this. He has only disadvantages. And look at Vegas. They know. Let's look at the odds. The co-main event. Holloway. A rematch with why can't I remember his name? I gotta Google it. I got a computer here. I'm gonna Google it right now. And it's not on. It's on the Xbox. That's annoying. That is annoying, but let's turn it on. Let's turn it on. Let's get. That's why I got an office. This is why I have an office. I can make things happen now. Holloway didn't have a training camp, and there's no way you could tell me that's a good thing. And he said he did Zoom training and he fights so much he doesn't need training. Fighting's all about timing. It's all about timing and distance and having your legs ready to go. And if you're not doing a full training camp, you're not getting at least some rounds of sparring and not training with your trainers and training on a Zoom and just doing stuff in your house. I'm sorry. And Holloway's already, to me, on the backside of his career. So if he's doing all that, I can't take him in this fight. I cannot take him in this fight. Versus Volkanovski. And I really like this guy. I really like Volkanovski. He's a very good stand-up. He's very balanced. And he clearly won the last fight. It was a good fight, but he clearly won. And I think he's going to win this fight even more impressive fashion. I think if Holloway would have had training partners, had everything, Volkanovski would have won this fight. But now that Holloway's coming in off of just training off of FaceTiming a trainer, he's going to get smoked in this fight. He's going to be exposed in this fight. And it's kind of just, to me, like, I don't know why, but the UFC is at a point right now where it's names, but we're not getting, and it's a lot of things going on. I mean, I can't blame the COVID things happening. There's a lot of things going on, but we're getting names, but we're not getting the actual fights. We're just getting names. They're just throwing names out there. And this fight should be a great fight. But if you can tell me, I don't have a training camp, right? He's not sparring. He's not hitting pads. He's not doing anything. He's just doing stuff off of Zoom. He's Zooming someone and he's working out in his front room. No. Okay, I'm going to say no right now. I'm going to say no right now. It's like Nate Diaz was training in his hotel for the Masvidal fight. Just no. I'm going to say no. Just no. It's not this time. No. It's not the way this works. It's not the way this works at all. Okay, I'm really sad I'm missing this card. They're fighting on a beach. It's everything like that I look forward to the fighting. Unexpected, strange. Anything can happen, and I'm gonna miss it. I'm sad. But I'm going with my prediction, and I'm gonna go both ways. So I said Masvidal at training camp, so I'm gonna say right now, Usman's gonna win. He's gonna dominate. He's gonna take him down over and over again. He's gonna get some of the better to stand up later in the fight. And it will end with an excuse, an understandable excuse. For Masvidal, they didn't have a training camp. And we won't really have the answers. And we will talk about a rematch. And Masvidal will go back and fighting tough welterweight fights, but he should be, have at least a legit shot at the title, other than what we're getting because of the UFC and how their structure is going to work going forward. And Holloway, maybe not taking his career as serious as he once did, but maybe he couldn't because of the COVID thing. And I'm sure there's a lot of laws in place where he's at right now that he couldn't do those things that he wanted to do. But the fighters are in a position where they have to take their paydays now because UFC is not offering many of them. And this is what we're getting. And I think it's a lesser product, bigger names, lesser product. And that's unfortunate, but that's what it is. I won't be catching the fights weekend, but I will be waiting for the results, I guess. And let's see if I'm right on this. This has been the weigh-in.